Good morning. This is a message based on the Gospel of John, chapter 2, verses 1 to 11, the wedding at Cana. And the theme is miracle worker. And so, having heard the gospel proclaimed to us, there are many details that you could think about that are in this story. Jesus is present at a wedding and is affirming marriage. That the first sign or miracle that John tells us about just immediately follows chapter 1, where John tells us that the Word was with God and the Word was God, and now the Word is made flesh. That this Jesus is the second person in the Trinity, and that point is being made that this person has the authority to do miracles such as this. That the mother of Jesus was present for this and believed in Jesus's abilities even before Jesus had a chance to demonstrate that. At the miracle itself, there was a conflict, and then the conflict was solved, and then the hospitality was provided in an uninterrupted fashion. And then there are those 6 stone jars. And that's the detail I want to focus on. I recently did an exercise where I had to close my eyes and try and imagine this scene as it may have happened in its first time. And what I noticed were these 6 jars were nowhere close to the source of water. Maybe they were, maybe they're not. That the text doesn't tell us that, where they are located. But what the text does tell us is that Jesus says to the servant, "Go and fill," and the servant does. Now the gospel writer tells us that these 6 jars hold 20 to 30 gallons of water. So let's do the math here. That 6 times 20 is 120 gallons. 6 times 30 is 180 gallons. And so this servant would have had to go and bring in water, I guess by a bucket, because they would not have had hoses the way we do. And so I have my bucket here. And suppose this bucket holds about a gallon of water. Does anybody know what a gallon of water weighs? It weighs about 8 pounds, a little over 8 pounds. And so, more math here. Suppose this servant carries one bucket 120 to 180 times, 8 pounds a trip. Suppose this servant carries 2 buckets at a time, and so now it's only 60 to 90 trips, but they're lugging 15 pounds each time. Or suppose they somehow are able to carry a gallon and a half in each bucket. You see what I'm getting at? That this took a long time for this servant to do, and yet they did it anyway. And this is long before the miracle had revealed itself, because the next thing Jesus says is to take some of this water, or take something, dip from the cup, and take it to the chief steward, who would have been the boss of this servant. And so this servant would have known that it was water and been like, okay, and the servant does it anyway. I think this servant is the one who believed first, long before the disciples do. And this servant did what Jesus said and became a Jesus follower in that moment. And even though this servant's story fades into the background, just imagine what they're able to tell their family and friends, and how it made a difference in their life as a follower of Jesus. Amen.